Hey guys, Damo from the Footy Mailbag here. I'm going to select my January team, so sit tight and I'll explain everything as I go through. First picked, Nick Dacos. I don't think he gets low enough in price from his early tags that he becomes cheap enough for us to upgrade to, at least in the early part of the season. Next pick is Jack Sinclair. He scored really, really well no matter where Ross Lyon put him. And I think at under 600k, we are actually getting a little bit of a bargain. And my D3 is Hayden Young. He's going to play midfield for the Dockers, and by all reports, looks very comfortable doing it. My next pick is also going to be a Docker at 250k. Heath Chapman looks like he's going to be playing on a wing, rolling back to take some intercepts, real Supercoach friendly role. A few years ago, he was close to 400k. So if you can get back there, there's going to be about 150k that he can make for us. And also coming back from injury is Zach Williams, and I see him in a similar situation to Heath Chapman, where he's going to make some quick cash just based on role and output. And let's not forget the Zach Williams, while at the Giants, though, but he was a premium at some point. So for all we know, we're getting a premium for 216k. Not calling him a premium, but I'm saying there is the chance that there is that scoring coming. For rookies, I really like Bailey McDonald. Not going to select Daniel Curtin in my defense. I'm looking to move him into my midfield. So I have that swing set with Nick Dacos if needed. But Bailey McDonald looks like he's in ripping Nick for the Hawthorn Football Club in their match simulations. If he doesn't pan out, then maybe I do move Daniel Curtin back, or I look at someone like Jace Burgoyne, who has been playing wing for Port in their match simulations, or Callan Dawson. Darcy Gardner's under 200k if he lines up for Brisbane. There's a whole lot of options. There's even Tom Brown at Richmond, who played the final round and looked really promising, scoring 69 in that round 24 game as well. On the bench, I'm going to stick Nick Caulfield and what's his name? Nick Caulfield and Zach Reid. Zach Reid looks like he's going to fit comfortably into that Essendon defence now that Zerk Thatcher's gone, alongside Ben Mackay. So that's my defence. For the midfield, Marcus Bontempelli, not worried about his price. He's been in full preseason training since they restarted in January. And at 724k, it's a big investment, but I think he's worth it. Next player I'm locking in is Jordan Dawson, averaged 116 for the season. When Matt Crouch was inserted in there, he only averaged about 112, but I think he is someone who not only avoids the early buy, but also is a fairly solid scorer. And let's not forget, last season was his first time as a full-time mid. I expect him to improve even more in season 2024. Just quickly, though, I'm not avoiding round zero players, but because I had such a slow start to last season and I was behind the eight ball and playing catch up for pretty much the entire season, I want to get on top and ahead of the players that are featuring in round zero, and I'm looking to pick them up later. So there'll be players that I don't select in my round one team that I will want eventually. I just think getting a head start is important for me, at least in my situation this season. And then my other midfield primos, Zach Butters, he's just going to go to another level. He's still young. Luke Davies-Uniacke, people are going to call him an injury risk, but most of his injuries were real unlucky, and I really think that he could be a beacon, a bit of a shining light for North Melbourne in 2024, and Caleb Sarong is tearing up the track for Fremantle. And not only that, he looks in ripping nick in their match simulations as well, and really burst out of the blocks last season. For my rookies, going all the way down to the 202Ks, because Colby McKercher, he could be another 95 plus averaging rookie again. We had Dacos, we had Sheasel. Now, I think we're going to get McKercher, and really wouldn't surprise me if we get Riley Sanders too. And like I said, when talking about my defense, Daniel Curtin's going to sit there in my M8 position to swing with Nick Dacos if I need it. Just really handy swing set there. Daniel Curtin averaged 86 in the waffle against men across 6 games. So I don't think he's going to average 86 at AFL level, but anything around 75 would be really, really good. Even as low as 65, I would be happy with. Going to the bench, Jeremy Sharp. Not often you can pick up a best 22 player for 123k. Looks like he's going to be best 22, but whether that happens or not is another thing. I think he's someone that even if you start with, it'll be a saved trade later on. And we get 40 trades, so it's not much of an issue now. But I think he's going to be there round one and make a really big impact. Jai Clark for Geelong, and then Clay Hall. Sounds like he is right in the mix to be there in the centre bounce at round one for West Coast. And West Coast will want to put experience, will want to give games to these kids to help them shoot back up the ladder as quick as possible. For my ruck line, I am going as boring as they come. Gorn and Grundy. On my bench, though, I'm going to select Toby Conway. He's been the number one choice at Geelong preseason training, and I think it's more likely that he gets the nod for the number one role and Mark Blitzarves supports him. If there is any hint of Reece Stanley coming along, though, Toby Conway will be off my bench and I'll be looking at something else in that position. I don't know whether I'll go for a loop or whether I'll try and see if there's someone maybe a little more expensive, like a Ned Moyle, who's going to get an opportunity, or even Jordan Sweet's not that a little bit under him in price, who might get opportunity as well. There's also Sam Naismith as an option, as and under him, Lockie Smith at the Dogs if Tim English can't get over his concussion issues. And then there's also Cohen Livingston and Finbar Maley, who are popular loop options. Now, in my forward line, Jack McRae, we've been given a gift with Jack McRae in our forward lines, averaged 99.9 in 2023. I think he could shoot back up to a 105 average. So I think he's tad underpriced. But I'll be happy for him to just match what he did last season as a forward, because the forward line is a little bit shit. And kind of going a bit light in the forward line, and I'm leaving myself some room to pick up some players later down the track, depending on who comes to the fore during the preseason games and maybe even in round zero. So James Jordan is my F2, 275k is a little bit cheap, but if the role that he's been getting in Swans match simulations is anything like what he's going to get in the real season at 275k, he's a no-brainer. And then just got to round that out with some rookies. So, of course, I've got to pick Harley Reid. I'm going to pick Nick Watson. Finn McRae looks like he's going to step into the role that Taylor Adams has left behind. And then who else have we got? Braden George was a highly touted teenager, but did his ACL. Looks like he's going to come back and make an impact for North Melbourne this year. And then some draftees, Cooper Simpson and Sean Manor. And I'll put Sean Manor on my field just for some comfort. And it's given me 158k in the bank, and I've got different ways that I can spend it. But for now, I'm happy to hold it and just see how everything goes in the preseason. There's some primos that I can downgrade to upgrade one of my rookies or something along those lines. I've got options. It's just January. In February, I might look to spend it if some people come out of the woodwork and show that they're really, really making a charge during the preseason. Maybe I do a little more research on someone that I'm not all that sold on at the moment, and then get more comfortable with them, like a Connor McDonald or something along those lines. But this is my January team for now. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I will talk to you in the next podcast or next video. Who knows where you'll see me.